Hello, and welcome back to Project Rejectus. Today, we continue our journey through the Trumetaceo's history as we see them advance even further and develop multiple unique cultures. The mountain beasts, while not as advanced as their distant cousins, still have plenty of room to grow themselves, especially with their plants and animals. This was the case for the humble Grena. As time went on, the mountain beasts would experiment, creating new breeds meant for specific tastes and people, which led to the creation of the pink sweetie, a breed of Grena with, you guessed it, a sweet taste that is well liked by children. While this many breeds would appear for the Trumetaceo's own pleasure across the many mountains, soon a reason would appear to allow the mountain beasts to actually advance. And that reason would be the Lista, such big beasts constantly carrying. The mountain beasts require quite a bit of food to maintain, which to the creation of the first practical Grena. The purple stalk or healthy Grena is specifically bred to grow fast and provide more nutrients than the average Grena. They have become similar to the Grex domesticated by the other Trumetaceo species. These plants have lost their thorns and numbing effects, now purely bred to feed the mountain beasts and their steeds. They would quickly become the most widespread Grena, allowing for now new breeds of Lista to be made, such as the Zenitors, which are specifically bred to be eaten. They act as the Trumetaceo's version of cows, having lost most of their armor in favor of fatter bodies for the mountain beasts' consumption. All of these factors combined meant these Trumetaceos could now advance and thrive like they never had before. Trading, farming, and even larger communities would be formed, allowing for the creation of the first towns and cities. Their homes were carved straight from the mountains. They covered the cliffsides, spreading quickly. As the mountain beasts could now settle only traveling to hunt or trade, they lived peacefully on their mountain tops, giving them one last thing to advance their rich culture. You might be wondering, what is this odd little thing I have here? Well, remember how I said tusks are special to Trumetaceos? This is part of it. When a mountain beast dies, their tusks are embedded into rocks for their graves, so the family may visit whenever they are placed quite close to each other, making parts of the mountain absolutely covered in these graveyards, with many relatives coming to hear the music these graves make. Now, while I'd usually move on to the next Trumetaceo species, we're gonna do something different. Remember how I said there were subspecies, different races of Trumetaceos? Well, we're going to explore some of them along the way. With mountain beasts living in an area with such harsh conditions compared to their cousins, they are quite tough, being able to take on many large animals. This has also allowed them to thrive even in the coldest areas of Glacially. The Wanderers are a smaller race of mountain beasts that have ventured out of their mountain ranges, going further into the icy plates of Glacially. They survive in the harshest parts of their world, due to them spilling off from their cousins quite early in their history. They did not get the same luxury of having Listas to carry them around, but luckily, they were late enough to have Lanaceus alongside them, creating their own special breed. The woolly Lanacea has thick white and gray wool all around its body to help survive the harsh cold world. They do help their owners with hunting. Their main purpose is to grow and provide wool to the Trumetaceos. Their fast-growing wool allowed their masters to have a constant supply of clothing and materials, allowing the Wanderers to have a full set of clothes: a shirt, pants, shoes, and gloves. They truly have it all. With this comfy set of clothing keeping them constantly warm, they could survive the extreme temperatures. And for those wondering what those red things are, those are snowshoes made from the scarce amount of wood the Wandered could find to prevent themselves from sinking into the snow. Now, unlike other Trumetaceos who have quite a diverse diet, the Wanderers are stuck with being carnivores. Due to the low amount of plants in their area, they are constantly on the move for their next meal. And while the place they live in is quite desolate, there is one animal that is quite common here. So of course, the Wanderers domesticated them. What you thought they were gonna try and kill this behemoth? No, with the Wanderers, not having access to Listas the Nisris is a great replacement for the role of a horse. They act like living houses for the Trumetaceos. The Nisris carries most of the tribe and their supplies daily, which is why their saddles are so large. This also means they need a lot of sleep, meaning similar to most predators, the wanderers spend a good bit of their day sleeping alongside their giant steeds. And of course, with the vast amounts of wool, they have large lightweight tents can be created to cover the Nisris along with a good amount of their large tribes. It is a common sight to see these white tents huddled next to each other as the Trumetaceos inside rest and check their supplies. Now, while this lifestyle works for the wanderers, a constant struggle for supplies isn't always the best option, which is why with their giant companions the wanderers are known to raid nearby villages, uses the Nisris to fling giant rocks, destroying most of the houses as the Trumetaceos quickly scavenge the remains. Don't let this fool you, however, they are quite peaceful, with many wanderers usually trading for their resources from their mountain cousins to Trumetaceos all the way to faraway jungles. Oh, that was a mouthful. Anyways, let's finally move on to the other Trumetaceo species. Starting with the island dwellers, these Trumetaceos have started to advance similar to their cousins. The age of farming has done wonders for their civilization. As the many tribes become more connected, the need to travel farther distances is obvious, which means once again, their boats have become even more complex. With 2 sails, a larger base, and a dream, these boats were ready to sail the 7 seas. While most commonly used by traders, many people own these boats to travel from place to place. They helped to get people more resources, helping to create many villages that were made up by these simple small wooden houses they made, with a roof made of leaves. They quickly spread across the islands, acting as homes for many. This, however, wasn't the end of it, as a quite interesting idea came to these Trumetaceos. What if they lived entirely in the water? Quite similar to the houses on land, these villages were held up by slits and bridges. While much smaller and less common than the mainland houses, these villages thrived nonetheless. They acted as a hotspot for weary traders to rest, giving the local villagers a constant stream of supplies their way. With all these advancements, the Trumetaceos isla went through a population boom, becoming much more common compared to low numbers from before. They expanded far and wide, and even made a huge discovery for this point in time by making it to the mainland. They made contact with the jungle Trumetaceos, a race with oddly similar tusks to the island species. It was oddly quite peaceful, as the traders were eager to learn more about the species of giants they learned from their culture. They were hunter-gatherers who used wooden masks and leaves to help blend in with their homes. As they hunted using simple slings to hit their prey with rocks, they peacefully traded knowledge from inventions to their culture. Which is why, as different as they may seem, the island and jungle Trumetaceos have very similar beliefs and cultures compared to most, and due to this, the island traders helped the jungle tribes advance by teaching them how to make houses, which greatly helped the wood facers. Specifically, these houses over the water helped with the knowledge to make stilts. The wood facers built their houses in the trees away from any predators below. They connected their villages with rope bridges to stay above the danger. The wood facers could easily climb up to their houses if needed, as they could now safely secure their food and resources in these shelters. This was also helped by the fact that the traders had given women livestock to the wood facers, helping to spread their aquatic food to the mainland. Now, don't worry, the wood facers aren't the only ones getting all the advantages from this, as through trading the island Trumetaceos has been able to gain access to the once exclusive domesticated alcantes. These animals were bred to basically act as living axes, helping to cut down any tree with their strong beaks. They are considered to be a wood facer's best friend, always being nearby each other. The alcantes is known to protect Trumetaceos. They have strong bonds with, and even helps to look out for any threats. Alright, one more time, then you'll be all caught up with the world of Glaculi. Finally making it to the original Grexland, Trumetaceos. This group is probably the most advanced of them all. Their farms have helped them come a very long way. They have built the very first civilization, advancing their simple stone houses. The new and improved homes are much bigger and stronger due to the many new inventions, such as windows. While no sand is available to make glass, the Trumetaceos have made do by making a thin layer of dried sap to act as glass to allow them to see outside their houses. These homes would become quite abundant by rivers and other areas with high resources. This allowed the first kingdom to be born, which led to an early government where the rulers lived in large palaces focused in the center of their regions. These structures had vast amounts of knowledge and resources within them as they looked over the local people. As more and more popped up, they eventually created the first kingdom known as the Baphomet River Civilization. They had many inventions such as their glue and cement, often used to make their houses. This, however, wasn't the most important, as with all these people, a way of effectively communicating was needed, creating a language for the Trumetaceos. Now, to be clear, all of the species have a language, but if we went over all of them, we would be stuck here forever, so instead, we will focus on the Grexland and Jungle Trumetaceos languages specifically to simplify it. So let's start with the basics. Here is the Trumetaceos primitive alphabet. Due to the Trumetaceos making sounds similar to a crocodile or a goat, most sounds they make either are a ba or creak noise. These letters are common in this early civilization, but don't be fooled. Even if this is just the basics, this language has many rules to make it work. For example, since female Trumetaceos are slightly larger than the males, there are gender differences in the words, with feminine words ending with Bekov and masculine words ending with Czech. This is also why ba letters like Bekov are round, since they have a lower sound, while creek letters are sharper due to their thinner sound. A similar rule applies to any word for tools, as each one of those words begins with the letter Chet. As you can see in the image, Chet C means instrument and Chet Kaz means axe. So these words are pretty easy to identify and group together. This also applies to plants and animals, as all animal-related words begin with the letter ba, while all plants begin with the letter creek. They can also have different meanings due to the words begin combinations of other existing words. This also means many adjectives and verbs exist to describe the Trumetaceo surroundings. The language is quickly advancing from its simple state, as now full sentences can be formed, such as Bo Wan Si, Ba Creek, Biwa Kray, Bekov, Czech, Bok Sen, Biwa Bekov, Czech. And while this may sound complicated to you or me, to the average Trumetaceos, it's a simple greeting asking to follow along, and this is just the basics. Think about when we have enough to make a full language. But that will be for another episode. For now, just wanted you all to have a taste of what's to come. As always, thank you all for watching this silly little series I've made. I really appreciate it, and all the people who help out. Like always, the Discord server will be in the description, but not alone, as the language is getting its very own server where you can help out to flesh out this language until it's ready to be its own video. That's all I have left to say. Goodbye for now. I hope you enjoyed this video.